So shingle roofs have a natural lifespan, about 14 to 25 years, and every roof will need to be fully replaced eventually. But most roofs will also experience some sort of localized damage in their lifetime. Tree limbs may puncture the shingle barrier, or wind might crack and fold shingles back. Isolated situations like this don't warrant a full roof replacement, but they do need to be dealt with to prevent water intrusion. So this week, I teamed up with Kyle McLean of Baker Roofing in Raleigh, North Carolina. Kyle is Baker's regional control manager and a 3-decade roofer. He showed me how to properly replace a damaged asphalt shingle. Today, we're going to share that information with you. But just remember that working on roofs is always dangerous, and falling can lead to injury or death. If you don't feel qualified, please hire a good professional company like Baker Roofing to do your work for you. This is just an instructional video, and any work you may carry out is at your own risk. All right, with that said, let's get on with the repair. So first things first, if you're replacing an individual shingle, you want to try to use replacement shingle from the same manufacturer. Part of this is just color and style match, but as Kyle points out, shingles may have a particular width, and this is even more important. When shingles are in a pack, they're actually sort of wavy. Their components are still tight and compressed because they're fresh from the factory. But as shingles lay on a roof in the hot sun, they'll begin to flatten out or relax. And a shingle slightly wider than its predecessor can actually encroach on the shingles around it. This may cause the seams to pucker and bunch, which may lead to cracking or water intrusion. So you really want an identical shingle. You may even have to take a removed shingle out and go searching for a match. Or you may even have to trim a skinny sliver from the edge of your new shingle if it seems to fit too tight. But assuming you have a match, you're ready to make your repair. And I'll point out some of the other tools and materials involved as we go along. We had a couple of small nail pops on this roof, and we're using those places as hypothetical spots to repair. But I will show a simpler nail pop repair in a later video. As Kyle points out, replacing one shingle really involves addressing several shingles above it as well. This is because every shingle on a properly installed roof will have upwards of 8 nails in it, not just the 4 that most people think. See, most architectural asphalt shingles should be nailed in the overlap between top and bottom layers. This is the thickest part of the shingle, the common bond, and nailing it this way will ensure that the lower layer stays put when adhesives begin to fail. Typically 4 spaced nails will hold the shingle at this level, but 4 more will also hold it near the top in what is known as the head lap. This is because when the next upper course of shingles is installed, the nails through their common bond will penetrate the lower shingle near the top edge. This redundancy is built into shingle nailing patterns, and it's there to ensure proper hold down. This is why you always want to use a full height shingle. Bad roofers will sometimes cut the headlap off to avoid having to deal with upper shingle nails. But that's wrong. A truncated shingle is far more likely to blow off or let water in, and that's not a proper repair. So stick to full height shingles like we're doing here. Alright, at this point we're ready to remove our damaged shingle. To do this, we're going to use a relatively thin flat bar with a notch at the end. You don't need a really burly one like mine, just a bar that's rigid and relatively thin. And you have to be really careful at this point because you can actually cause a lot more shingle damage if you're too rough during the removal. To get started, Kyle usually lays the bar flat on the roof and gently pushes it onto the shingle corner or the front edge. He does this in a light scraping motion. Then, once the edge is lifted, he works the bar sideways across the lower edge of the shingle. This separates the adhesive tabs on the backside of the shingle, which melt into the roof over time. Notice he keeps the bar completely flat when doing this. He does not pry upwards at first. This could flex and break fragile shingles. He just slides the bar sideways until the full width of the shingle is worked free. And he also begins addressing shingles above this point as well, loosening their adhesive bonds. This is so he can get to the hidden nail heads on this target shingle. He's sort of opening the whole grid. When he has relevant tabs worked loose, lifted, and lightly flexed, he then wedges the flat bar under his target shingle at a nail location. Here he'll pry lightly upwards to lift the shingle and the nail head, often starting at the corner. He does this gingerly, sometimes with a shimmying motion, and he really wants the cleft of the bar notching around the base of the nail. When the nail pops loose, he'll back the pry bar out and tap the raised shingle down from above. This will leave the nail head standing proud. At this point, he can slip the bar notch beneath the nail head and just lift it out. It's pretty easy. So he'll do this for all 4 nails in the common bond area. Then he'll move upwards and do the same thing to the shingles above because their lower nails are through the headlap of our target shingle. As I said, the whole thing is a grid. You don't ever just want to rip a shingle out because the new one won't go in like it's supposed to. There's always going to be higher nails in the way. But once he has all these nails pulled out, the shingle just slides free. And now we can more accurately see the locations of the nail points, 4 low and 4 high, though there could be more on steep roofs and windy areas. So we then grab our replacement shingle and slide it into place. Kyle points to our ideal nail line, in this case, through the common bond. The higher line can serve for low slope roofs, but nailing through the lower line is always preferable. Also, he's using 1.5 inch stainless steel roofing nails with a lot of ring shank on them. These have a slightly thicker gauge than coil nails and hold better as a result. He places his first one no less than an inch from the edge. You don't want to get too close to the edge. Setting a roofing nail is tricky because the upper shingle is in the way and you don't want to damage it. Notice how Kyle tents the upper shingle with his offhand while also using it to hold the nail steady. Then a few taps gets the nail point set. This, of course, takes some practice and Kyle is an expert. But it doesn't take much to get the nail set because it's just biting through shingle layers at first. This is enough to hold it in place. Just make sure it's upright and not tilted. You have to drive roofing nails straight in. Kyle just drives his with a few quick strokes without bashing the shingle above. He gets the head driven flush with the surface, but doesn't overdrive and doesn't leave it proud. Angled heads and overdriving can cut shingle layers and that reduces their holding power. You don't want that. So he gets the 4 nails set in the common bond line. Then, he replaces all the headlap nails as well. Don't forget these, including the seams between upper shingles. You have to make sure you're addressing all removed nails. Also, you don't have to go back into your old nail holes. You can set a new hole and it'll give even more fastening power. At this point, the new shingle is fully installed and the old shingles are secured. But Kyle likes to take one extra step, and that's hand tabbing with roofing sealant. Baker uses Carnac 19 as under shingle sealant. It's an extremely thick, flashing cement that resists sagging or running over time. And it also has great adhesive properties. It takes a while for a new shingle to melt in, and Kyle wants to help it avoid uplift. So he dabs 4 nickel-sized blobs of Carnac along the underside of the shingle, about 1.5 inches up from the bottom edge. Then he presses the shingle into these spots to embed it. He does this for all shingles disturbed in the replacement process. Heat and gravity will then fully tighten them to the roofing layers. I'm going to talk much more about roofing sealants in the future, and we'll even discuss how they can help make some temporary emergency repairs when roofs are unexpectedly damaged. But for now, this repair is done. That's how to replace individual asphalt shingles on a roof, and this new shingle will last until the roof needs fully replaced. I want to thank Kyle and Baker for partnering up with me for this video. I'll link Baker's contacts and socials below. They're a great company with locations all throughout the Southeast, and we'll have more collaborations in the future. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to check back in for more videos coming up soon. And please consider subscribing and hitting that little bell button to turn on notifications. That way you'll know the moment we post something. I'm Ethan James with The Honest Carpenter. I'll see you next time.